Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another quick episode of Library of Awakening. We're going to be diving into a phenomenal read today titled The Genesis of Reality. This one absolutely blew my mind. Now, I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to give to you guys tonight, but I'm going to try to get through a couple of pages at least. I did, however, want to really create this video breakdown to give each and every single one of you all a shout out. Love and light to each and every single individual that follows Library of Awakening, hosted by us here at CyberX. I cannot stress enough how grateful we are for all just the genuine love and support that you guys have been showing our channel. We have surpassed 10K followers over on TikTok. We're almost at 7,000 on YouTube. So again, really do appreciate the love and the support that you guys have been showing this page. I do want to give my gratitude and my just show you guys that we're grateful here with the love and the support that you guys give. All right. So today we're going to be diving into this book here. This one was a great find over in the CyberX Discord. I found this one. Let me share a screen with you guys real quick. I believe I found this one in the human psychology section, or maybe it was the expanded consciousness. It was the expanded consciousness, human potential, and energy systems tab inside of the CyberX Discord within the Library of Awakening section. So I came in here earlier today. I was making a book recommendation on all these just spiritual, kind of like third eye awakening, deep, like expanded consciousness books. I found quite a few. Here's just some of the titles that I was diving into earlier. Frontiers of the Afterlife. This one's over 100 years old. I believe this is the late 1800s, or maybe it was the early 1900s, 1922. So over 100-year-old book. This one was a great one I was going to give to you guys. The Light of the Soul, a couple of other titles, The Alchemy of Awareness, and then another one from Annie Besant, phenomenal author here, Thought Forms. But tonight, I really came across this one and dove into the table of contents, The Genesis of Reality, and this one just freaking blew my mind. So again, this book was found in the Expanded Consciousness, Human Potential Energy System section, Library of Awakening. All right. So if you guys want access to these books, these 100-year-old books that nobody talks about, and again, you can find these books online, I'm sure, right? But how are you going to find the books if you don't know the titles? If you don't have the data, right? The title of the book, you're not going to be able to look it up. And so here at CyberX, we have the data. There is probably over 5,000, honestly, I'd say probably over 10,000 books inside of our Discord. So you don't have to go out there and do the research. We've done it for you here at CyberX. All the crazy titles that you want to know about, all the just mind expanding, altering information that's out there, it's all inside the private CyberX Discord. So let's jump into this one. Okay. Let's read a couple of pages. I'll see how much time I can give to you guys tonight. Starting off here in the foreword, it says, supramental studies really began in 1969 when the light of the cosmic intelligence has descended to Earth to objectively instruct man in the laws of life and the universe. Now, let me make sure that my microphone is correct. I had to look this word up, supramental. It's like one of those words that like you feel like you've heard before, but you don't really truly know the definition of it, right? At least for me, that's how it was. And it says here, the supramental is a key concept. Sorry if I butchered these names or these pronunciations. Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, representing a higher divine consciousness that transcends human mental limits, fostering unity, harmony, and truth. So that's why I kind of dove into this one a little bit deeper after just reading the forward and finding this word here, supramental. Coming down here, and I'm just going to dive and read a little bit into chapter 1, but the table of contents here is thick. The intelligence of man in the world of death, the purification of the human mind, the world of thought, adepts of the astral, integral man, the astral of thoughts. I mean, like the list goes on. The global psychic mass, the universal occult consciousness. So definitely one of those books that you're going to want to try to dive into or at least finish. I know I'm going to come back to this one. I'm not just going to give you guys a book recommendation, read a couple of pages and never revisit. I'll probably finish this book eventually. But chapter 1, free will, it says here, I wish that I could minimize that. Let's see if I can make this a bit longer. There we go. The concept of free will increases man's illusion of psychological and psychic freedom, while nothing is more distant from reality. Man on Earth knows an experimental consciousness directly related to one level or another of life's program. Man comes from death, and as long as he has to return to death, he knows a programmed life over which he has no absolute control. This is part of the laws of involution, and no unconscious man can deny in the depths of his being that he has perceived during his existence forces sufficiently evident in him that made him act in one direction or another according to a plan in his life. What? I'm telling y'all, this one is deep. This one is deep. Even if free will is the master of psychological quality of the ego, it is not tested by the forces that work within man under the guise of his emotions and subjective thoughts. This is why, moreover, man has never felt that he possessed the absolute key to his real existence. The new man will experience a consciousness through which free will be transformed into a free consciousness. Evolution will make this man a free being, capable of fully understanding his life. He will have overcome the karmic influences of his link with the world of death and will now be able to steel himself from the influences of the parallel planes. This real freedom will mark the total rapture of the power of the astral entities on the mental plane of man. From that moment on, a creative intelligence will be the one and only force in him. He will have it to live according to the laws of life and no longer according to those of death. The psychology of these men will be a true internal and infused science. I'm going to, by the way, not chop out any of these bloopers, right? Where I'm stumbling on my words. I hope that you guys enjoy that. I'm just going to kind of flow, right? We're not perfect. The psychology of these men will be a true internal and infused science, free of any interference and interference. They will recognize that being free goes far beyond simple free will, which marked during involution the beginning of the illusion of the ego in matter. It is through the illusion of free will that forces of death have worked most hard to conquer man's mind. This is like one of those books that you gotta like read 3 or 4 times to really like, what? Okay, hold on. It is through the illusion of free will that the forces of death have worked most hard to conquer man's mind, especially through his subjective thoughts, which he believed to be his own, when in fact they were colored by different plans of influence. For a man to be free in the absolute sense of the word, he must live his thoughts creatively and not reflectively. Any reflection produced in consciousness has a mirrored effect that slows down the light and colors it, in fact. Man must be absolutely free, free from any form of thought that could color his consciousness. Otherwise, he lives the illusion of free will, a subtle astral mode that keeps him in the powerlessness of his creative intelligence. I'm highlighting all that. I'm coming back to all that. The new man will go so far beyond the psychological level of his own lower mental consciousness that he will be able to see the difference between free will and the higher mind and his full freedom of expression. This will give him access to a new vibratory rate of the energy of his consciousness, and at his form, this sensitivity that he will really become aware of. The later will be perfected to such an extent that one day man will naturally be able to adjust his mental vibration in order to control matter. Free will, as we institute it today, forces us to be influenced by parallel worlds. We do not yet know about the subtle planes of evolutionary intelligence to grasp the nature of occult reality behind the conscious of the ego. The human being supports within his subjective consciousness a whole memory that links him to planes from which he descended before his incarnation in matter. He lives and continues to live pacts with these plans, pacts that have been recorded in the annals of lives, greater than his egoistic consciousness. This is why man has no memory of his past lives. What? How have you guys ever feared? I know somebody can relate to this. You guys felt like you've connected to something, or you've known something, or you've dreamed about something almost as if it felt like you've done it before, or you knew how to do it, or it's something that you did in a life before this one, right? In this is so until he has reached a sufficient level of consciousness capable of supporting the memory that flows from his occult relationship with the soul. Thus bound, he is forced to live a material life that contains some weakness retained from his past experiences. He can also live other experiences that prepare him for a model of future life based on event material that will be used later, after his death, in the construction of more advanced vehicles for the evolution of the soul. It is within this condition that free will comes into play. It is used to develop according to experience the future conditions that will allow him, in terms of death, to perfect his evolution. For man does not live material experiences for the evolution of his material life, but for the evolution of his life as an entity on the subtle planes. What? Okay, we're highlighting that one. As this condition of unconscious humanity will be reversed in the next evolution, it excites and confuses the spheres of death. The later begin to perceive their helplessness in the face of the new human consciousness, helplessness that will force them to realize that they themselves will have to experience a great disruption. Humanity today lives the struggle between the old and the new consciousness, between the forces of the soul and the forces of the spirit. I think I'm going to stop right there. We're going on roughly around 11 minutes, 30 seconds. I'll give it some time. I think I had maybe a few other highlights down here. Let's see if we did. Man had to live in egoistic consciousness before moving on to the universal consciousness, since the latter requires a considerable increase in the vibratory rates of the subtle bodies. Without the illusionary consciousness of free will, man could not develop his personality and progress egotistically. But from the moment when the new being has conquered the planes of the higher mind, he will even go beyond this necessary involution condition to come join in himself his cosmic and planetary aspects. The joining of these aspects will raise his level of understanding of the laws of life and reality. This will allow him to actively participate in the creative energy of the plans that descend to man during the spiritualization of matter through the elevation of man's mental power over it. This one, I feel like I'm rapping. Like this, who is this guy that wrote this book? Hold on. Or lady, I don't remember. Who is this? Bernard de Montréal. He is spitting right now, like absolute gems in this book. And I mean, that's just the first chapter. So, love and light to each and every single one of you guys for showing supports to the Library of Awakening. If you guys enjoyed today's quick read, do us that favor, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the platform. We do appreciate the love and the support. I'll make an attempt to kind of come on show face a little bit more outside of shorts and actually kind of read and dive through some of these books. But again, if anybody wants to access these books, you guys are more than welcome. Inside the private Cyberx Discord, you can access our vast arsenal of books. Yes, we are a trading Discord at the end of the day. However, we have a whole entire section that is primarily driven towards third eye psychology, Library of Awakening, esoteric awakening, spiritual, religious, sci-fi, UFO, alien, you name it, it's in here. We'd love to have you on the team. Come join us. Come tap in with us. Book clubs are once a month right now. They might pick up slightly and be every other week. We'll see in the coming days ahead. But again, we'd love to have you come join us. You guys can always go back and watch those book club recordings inside the Discord. And there's also a playlist on the Library of Awakening. With that being said, many blessings to you guys. Be cognizant, be aware out there. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. If you are someone constantly searching for the best books, the rare ones, the ancient ones, the ones that actually change how you think, the Library of Awakening was built for you. Inside CyberX, we've organized a digital collection of over 4,000 powerful and ancient books spanning consciousness, psychology, ancient wisdom, esoteric symbolism, religion, wealth philosophy, global power structures, astrology, symbolism, tarot, sci fi, and alternative history. This isn't a random archive, it's categorized with intention. Inside, you'll find structured sections like the book club for guided study and discussion, the third eye psychology section for deeper perception and awareness, the human psychology and self mastery section for behavioral insight and transformation, even ancient wisdom and esoteric symbolism for decoding hidden teachings. We also have expanded consciousness for higher level thought, religion and spirituality for theological and philosophical study, and elite agendas and global power structures for macro awareness, wealth building and economics for foundational understanding, and even astrology, symbols, tarot, sci fi, and UFO exploration to widen perspectives. Everything inside the Private Cyberx Discord is organized for serious readers who want depth, not surface level summaries or trending bestsellers pushed by algorithms. If you're tired of reading what everyone else is reading and you're ready to access books that truly expand awareness, challenge assumptions, and sharpen your thinking, this is where you'll find them. Digitized, structured, and studied inside a focused community of thinkers and like minded individuals. So, head over to cyberxtrading.com, try out the CyberX Discord for a month, and unlock the Library of Awakening. Dive into the collection, find the books that you've been searching for, and maybe even some ones you didn't even know existed. Welcome to the journey. May this space inspire you to ask questions, explore the unknown, and most importantly, to awaken. This is the Library of Awakening. I know some of the perspectives that I share may be as challenging for you as they once were for me. But isn't that the beauty of exploration? Every perspective, no matter how unconventional, has something valuable to contribute to it if it's shared. Knowledge is not absolute. It's a living, breathing phenomena, shaped and reshaped over time. The important thing is not always be right, but to always be curious. Explore freely, share boldly, and learn deeply. And don't rely solely on others to validate your discoveries. Stand firm in integrity, even in the face of criticism. Remember that growth always means embracing the humility to admit when we're wrong. Learning from our errors is not a setback, it's the very essence of our progress. So, welcome to the journey. May this space inspire you to ask questions, explore the unknown, and most importantly, to awaken. This is the Library of Awakening.